Welcome to my Periscope. It's been a while. I'm just going to kind of waffle a bit until some people turn up. I just got a last minute call out on Facebook, on Twitter, just to say, oh, hi Jude, just to say I'm doing this. I haven't done a Periscope in absolutely ages. So it's kind of like remembering how to do it and what to press. So what I'm going to talk about today is how to step into your power when you really don't feel like it. Now, I'm not a big fan of the phrase step into your power. I kind of think it's a bit, it's like industry talk, but it kind of means something really important though. So I don't have a better way of saying it. So the inspiration for today came from a conversation I had with someone I know recently, who just kind of contacted me out of the blue to get some advice. And as a coach, I don't give advice, but I help people find their own right answers. So we'll just give it another moment before I go into what I want to talk about. Just drinking my lemon water, which is very healthy. One of the daily habit tips from Sarah Ann Lucas, also known as Birds on the Bike. She's the lady to go to for having amazing daily habits to support your life. Okay, so I'm going to talk about stepping into your power, how to do that when you really don't feel like it. Because it might be that you don't even know that phrase and you don't really know what that means. So the person who inspired me to talk about this topic just contacted me out of the blue, really randomly, and said, you know, this thing's going on for me and I don't know what to do. And can you help? And I was like, okay, let's just have a conversation and see. And I can't go into too much detail, obviously, because everything I talk to my clients about is confidential. But we talked about a professional scenario she was in where people she was connecting with weren't actually being that professional, and where it's almost like she was suddenly finding herself in a position of just no power in a role that she was leading in before. Interestingly, she didn't feel like she was necessarily in charge or leading, but my perception was that that was what she was needing to do. So the first thing that came up was that she was giving away her control to others. So a scenario happened. Some other people in her professional life didn't like her ideas, didn't like how that impacted on where they were at. But as the leader, that was her job, to put those ideas together, and there was a kind of kick-off. Someone really kind of flew at her about it. And her reaction was to kind of move backwards, as you might do when somebody's being aggressive, and to sort of recoil, because a lot of us don't like confrontation. And so that was how she kind of dealt with it, was to really kind of recoil and step back and just go, okay, then I'm obviously in the wrong, let you take the lead. But her gut feeling was that she wasn't in the wrong, but on some level she just completely gave up control and let others take over. So that's the first thing to notice, is when you're letting others take control, but your gut feeling is telling you that it's not actually right. And getting shocked and dispirited by the impact of others on you. So she really didn't, she kind of lost her mojo as such. So she kind of went to a place of complete lack of confidence about how to proceed. And again, I've had that happen to me, where I've been confronted with something that had impacted others, but my intention was never for it to be a negative impact. And I did the same. I kind of completely recoiled and got dispirited about the whole thing, because I'd done everything in good faith and never expected like a strong reaction. But in the same as this situation, my inner voice was saying, you know what the right thing is for you. Like, the right thing is this. But at the same time, there's another inner voice, the one that's more fear-based. So the inner voice, the first inner voice is your intuition, your gut feeling. The second one is the fear one, that's saying, you know, what do you know? You know, they're obviously right because they feel so strongly. And it's kind of like every idea I put forward, it'd be like, yeah, but, why I shouldn't do that. And that inner voice kind of comes up at every single thing you think about that might be a solution. That inner voice would jump in and rip it to pieces. And it will do it as if it's the other people involved in the scenario talking to you. So you'll be thinking this through, believing that the other people are telling you that that won't work. When it's not them, it's actually the voice in your head telling you that. So what I think you need to do when you're in these sorts of scenarios where you've found yourself in a position of no power, feeling powerless, feeling really unhappy, feeling shocked by a scenario that's happened, and not knowing how to proceed because you're really worried about getting it wrong, you're really worried about upsetting others more. The first thing to do is to work out what you want. Like what would be, so in this instance, the person really wanted to deal with it in a professional way so that her reputation was intact. Because she hadn't actually done anything wrong, by the way. It was just that somebody had been upset by a change of plans that she'd made, which was for the greater good of all involved. But this individual kicked off and then it spiraled her into feeling really negative. So what do you want? And if that's, say, to come out of this looking professional and dealing with it in a professional way, then asking yourself questions, what would be the professional way to handle this? If you did exactly what your gut told you, what would you be doing? And then it's taking some quiet time to think, well, what would my plan A be? What exactly would happen from here on out if I was to do my first choice? And so you think about that, and then the fear jumps in and does its usual thing of telling you all the reasons why that wouldn't work. So you hear it, and from that, you create your plan B. Your plan B will be, well, what if plan A isn't accepted by the people that you're feeling confronted by? And then you do a plan C if necessary, and a plan D. But you work out the plans of how you would like to handle it. So if it's professional that you want, could be confidence, if whatever it is for you, but how you would like to handle it. And if their reaction is this, how would you like to handle it? And if their reaction is that, how would you like to handle it? So it's about you taking some mental control and thinking through the options of how you'd like things to proceed. But being aware that it might not work. Things might go disastrously wrong. It might be a complete F up, for want of a more savoury word. So get those plans and then take some more quiet time to sit back and visualise. So what I mean by that is to sit somewhere quiet where you're not going to be disturbed, sit back comfortably, close your eyes and think through what would plan A be like. So that might be, well, that involves this. So I need to firstly make a call to this person. And if that's the person you're nervous of speaking to, think through that phone call, visualise it with your eyes shut as if it's happening. So think about time before you do the call, think about the call itself, and then what would happen afterwards. And if and when maybe you hit a sticking point where it all goes kind of wrong, start it again. Keep going over it and over it, replaying it until you're at a point where you have mentally completed that call to an acceptable standard. And then maybe do that for plan B and plan C or whatever if necessary. So visualize, really, really important. And athletes use this for their races. So they visualize their races, maybe even the whole day leading up to the race as well, so that when they're doing it for real, it actually isn't the first time their body's done it, because when you're visualizing, the muscles kick off in your body as if it's happening. So it's a really wonderful way of practicing something you're nervous about doing. And then once you've done your plans, you've done your visualization, you've maybe slept on it and had some time to think these things through, then you need to take considered action. So no knee jerks, no Like some people like to, when they're in a difficult situation and a situation that's really challenged them, write an angry letter. And yes, that can be really cathartic and a good way to work through some of your feelings, but don't send it. Don't send that letter. So when I say take action, I mean take considered action, thoughtful action, action that's in line with what you want ideally. So just to recap, so we've been talking about how to step into your power when you really don't feel like it. And it might be you don't even know the phrase stepping into your power, but it's about not letting others continue to have control over you, and your fear of them actually keep you in a place where you're not stepping up and taking control and responsibility for achieving what you want. And this might be where where the shit has hit the fan, and something's happening that in your life that's shocked you, that's bowled you over, that you're feeling quite small and recoiled by, as does happen from time to time, especially if something you've done has led to somebody else becoming quite confrontational, because what you've done has somehow impacted on them, and maybe it's not on purpose that you've upset them, but nonetheless it has upset them and it's come back at you and you've recoiled. So start to notice that you've given your control to others. Take notice of your gut instincts, notice what it's telling you to do. And it's okay to feel crappy, but it's not okay to stay there. You don't have to stay in that place. So firstly, work out what you want. So in the instance I'm thinking of, it was to come out of this looking professional and feeling professional, in the face of others not acting professionally. So it's really to rise above that. So work out what you want and make a plan A of what ideally will happen, and a plan B and a plan C, and as many plans as you need, taking into account your first choice of what will happen, and then what if that doesn't work? What if you're not supported in that plan? And even to the worst, what worse could happen, and how you'll handle it. So your plans are about how you will handle it, regardless of what other people do. This is about you taking control. And then sit back calmly and visualize your plan A, and maybe your other plans if necessary, just so that you're practicing it. You're practiced so that when you're live in the moment, it's not such a shock to you. Some of your nerves have been worked through, and you automatically will know how to handle certain things. And then it's taking action. None of this matters if you don't take action. You need to take considered action to put your plan into place. And yes, it might be scary, but sleep on it. Take some time to check in with your gut instinct. You deserve to step into your power. And what I mean by that is to step up, take some control, and take responsibility, because ultimately you're responsible for your life, your feelings, your thoughts. And it might not always feel like you have control of those, but you do. So that's me. Thank you for listening and watching, and I look forward to Periscope with you another time. Oh, before I finish, if you want to connect at all, I'm on Twitter on Hazel Adley Coke, COAC, and my website is www.hazeladleycoaching.com, and that's Adley, ADDLEY. Okay, bye for now.